Welcome to my story time by mybooksummary.com. Get ready for quick wisdom of countless stories and explore. The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. Chapter 1. The Quiet Hobbit and the Unexpected Guests. In a cozy little hole in the ground, beneath a grassy hill in the Shire, lived a very respectable hobbit named Bilbo Baggins. He loved his books, his food, and his peace. He had no interest in adventures. They were, after all, nasty, uncomfortable things that make you late for dinner. But fate, and a very meddlesome wizard, had other plans. One fine morning, Bilbo was sitting outside his round green door, enjoying the sunshine, when along came Gandalf, a tall, bearded wizard with a pointed hat and twinkling eyes that suggested mischief. "Good morning," Bilbo greeted politely. "What do you mean?" Gandalf asked. "Is it a good morning because you are happy? Or because the sun is shining? Or because something exciting is about to happen?" Bilbo frowned. "All of the above, I suppose." "Splendid," said Gandalf. "Because I am looking for someone to share in an adventure." Bilbo nearly choked on his tea. "An adventure? No, I am a Baggins of Bag End. We do not do adventures." But Gandalf simply smiled. "Oh, but you will." That evening, Bilbo's home was invaded by a company of 13 rowdy dwarves. Led by Thorin Oakenshield, a proud and serious dwarf with a mission to reclaim his homeland from the fearsome dragon Smaug. They ate all of Bilbo's food, sang songs of lost gold, and explained their quest. "We need a burglar," Thorin said. Bilbo blinked. "A burglar? Me? You have small feet and quiet steps," Gandalf said, giving him an encouraging look. Bilbo wanted to protest. He wanted to slam his door and go back to his cozy chair. Instead, he found himself packing the next morning, chasing after the dwarves, and heading toward adventure. Chapter 2. Troll Trouble. Bilbo's first test as a burglar came sooner than expected. While traveling through the wild lands, the company stumbled upon a campfire and 3 large, very stupid trolls. "Go on, burglar," Thorin whispered, shoving Bilbo forward. Bilbo tiptoed toward the trolls' camp, his heart pounding. His job was to steal food, but as soon as he reached for a purse, it started talking. "Hey, hands off, thief," it shouted. The trolls grabbed Bilbo. "What ave we got air?" one of them growled. "A little snack," another chuckled. Before Bilbo could escape, the trolls captured all the dwarves too. Things were looking grim until Gandalf returned. With clever ventriloquism, he tricked the trolls into arguing until the sun rose. And they turned into stone. Bilbo sighed in relief, realizing adventuring was far more dangerous than he had imagined. Chapter 3. Goblins and Gollum. Not long after, the company reached the Misty Mountains, where they were caught in a terrifying storm and took shelter in a cave. Unfortunately, the cave belonged to goblins. Captured and dragged to the Goblin King, things looked dire, until Gandalf appeared once again, wielding his magic staff and slicing through goblins like butter. As the company fled, Bilbo got separated and tumbled into a dark, wet cave. There, he met Gollum, a creepy, slimy creature with large, glowing eyes and a disturbing habit of talking to himself. Gollum wanted to eat Bilbo, but he proposed a game of riddles instead. For hours, they exchanged riddles. Bilbo was losing, until he accidentally felt something in his pocket. A small golden ring. He had no idea where it came from, but when he slipped it onto his finger, Gollum shrieked in horror, because Bilbo had just vanished. The ring, as Bilbo would later discover, was no ordinary ring. Using his new invisibility, Bilbo escaped Gollum and rejoined the company. But something had changed. He was no longer just a frightened little hobbit. He had done something incredibly clever and brave. Chapter 4. Beorn and the Forest of Nightmares. Escaping the mountains, the company reached the home of Beorn, a giant skin changer who could turn into a bear. Beorn fed them and warned, "Mirkwood is full of darkness and danger. Stay on the path." Foolishly, they did not listen. The moment they stepped off the trail, giant spiders attacked. Bilbo, using his sword, which he named Sting, fought them off alone and saved the dwarves. For the first time, Thorin looked at Bilbo with respect. Chapter 5. The Elven King's Captives. Their troubles weren't over. Soon, elves of the woodland realm captured them and locked them in the dungeons of King Thranduil. But Bilbo, using his magic ring, turned invisible and sneaked around. He found some barrels, stuffed the dwarves inside, and floated them down the river to freedom. Even Thorin had to admit, perhaps Gandalf was right about you. Chapter 6. Smaug the Terrible. At long last, the company reached the lonely mountain, where Smaug, the terrible dragon, slept atop his mountain of stolen gold. Bilbo, now fully embracing his role as a burglar, sneaked inside. There he saw Smaug, vast, golden, and terrifying. His heart pounded as he crept closer. "Who dares enter my hall?" Smaug's voice boomed. Bilbo gulped. Just a thief." The dragon laughed, and Bilbo, talking cleverly, tricked Smaug into revealing his weakness. A bare patch on his chest, unprotected by scales. Bilbo escaped just in time to tell the others. Chapter 7. The Battle of Five Armies. Smaug, furious, attacked Lake Town, where a brave warrior named Bard shot an arrow straight into the dragon's weak spot. With a final roar, Smaug fell. But trouble was far from over. With the dragon dead, everyone wanted the treasure: elves, men, dwarves, even goblins. Thorin, blinded by greed, refused to share and prepared for war. Bilbo, heartbroken, secretly gave Bard the Arkenstone, the most valuable jewel in the Horde, to force Thorin to make peace. But before a civil war could start, goblins and wargs attacked, forcing all groups to unite in the Battle of Five Armies. Thorin fought bravely, but was mortally wounded. Before dying, he forgave Bilbo. "You are a better person than I," he whispered. "If more valued home above gold, this world would be a merrier place." Bilbo wept for his friend. Final chapter, A Hobbit's Return. With the war over, Bilbo declined the treasure and returned to the peaceful Shire. He found that everyone thought he was dead, and his belongings were being auctioned off. No one believed his tales of dragons, battles, and adventures. But Bilbo didn't mind. He was no longer just Bilbo Baggins, the quiet hobbit of Bag End. He had faced dragons, trolls, and kings. He had been brave, clever, and kind. And most importantly, he had come home. The end. Stay tuned for more enlightening content. Head over to www.mybooksummary.com. Don't forget to subscribe and share the magic with friends. And let's grow together through the power of books and interesting stories.